You're listening to the Custom Built Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to discuss designing your home for you and your family now versus designing your home for resale value. So stay tuned. It really grinds my gears when we design our homes to go for resale value versus what makes sense for us in our home and like how we function in it. So I'm just curious, is this something that a lot of people do? I feel like it's been like ingrained in us to only be future pacing for like whoever's going to be in our home next. So when we choose our paint colors, when we choose our kitchen design and layout and the cabinet colors, when we are choosing what floors we want to put down, like there are a lot of things to consider in these things. Are there trends that you're following? Are these things that you truly love? Are they sustainable? Are they environmentally friendly? Are they healthy things that we're putting into our homes? Like just the green aspect is like on its own a huge thing to consider when you're building your home. But when we're going in and designing these things, but the only thing that's on our mind is, oh, am I going to be able to resell this later if I go this route? I think it's just the wrong way to be thinking about our homes. Our homes are ours. We like whether you plan on living in it for 5 years or 10, right? I'm assuming you own your house. When I'm discussing this, I am not talking about renting. I am not talking about, if you have like short-term rentals or any kind of rental property. This is not for that because you do want to design more for the masses when you're focusing on that. There's some arguments with the short-term rentals, like make it an experience, right? Like it doesn't need to be like everyone's cup of tea, but when I am discussing this, I am 100% talking about your home that you live in, that you own, and that you can make changes in. So whether you're going to stay in it for a few years or 20 years or, whatever, are you focusing on what makes sense for you and your family, or are you focusing on, the next person? And if the focus is on the future, you've already lost. Like you are no longer here and in the moment. You are no longer thinking about, like, your home is no longer working for you at that point. If you are only 100% focused on this future self, future use of this home, you've lost it. Your home is no longer for you. And what a not fun way to think about your home. Like your home is yours. So why not make it make sense for you, even if that changes in a few years? So maybe you have a hobby and you're really into photography and you got all your cameras and you want to put them out and you want to have them on display so you can quickly change them out. Now, again, this isn't talking about photographers as a profession, but I mean, it could be, right? I mean, we change professions, we change the things that we want to chase after, we pivot, we change, like we evolve, right? But if we're talking about a hobby or something that we do for fun, but we want to, put it out and see it, we might have a need to show it right there at that moment. But, in like 5 years, we might decide we want to change it. And so what, right? But do it for now. Do it for what you're doing, like what's happening. Like I can't tell you how many times we've built these loft beds or a loft bed in this house that we're living in right now. So we're coming into year 5 of living in this house. And we moved in and we put our kids in one bedroom. And our youngest at the time he had just turned 1. And so our oldest was like 3 or 4. I think she was 4, freshly 4. And so we decided to build a bunk bed and put our youngest on the ground and then our oldest up on like a shorter version of a bunk bed. But she was old enough where she was climbing and safely doing it. So that was one, right? We built one bunk bed. Then we decided that, these kids need to be in their own rooms because they're waking each other up. They're keeping each other awake at night. So we take down the bunk bed and then we build a loft bed in our daughter's room, which is actually this room. So this room used to be a bedroom and now it is now an office. This is like the 4th use of this room. So it was constantly changing. I'm not trying to digress here. So 1 bed, 2 beds, 3 beds. Our son's old enough. We built him a loft bed now. He's ready to climb. He's ready to go. So we are literally on bed number 4 in this house alone and just changing the needs because, again, our kids have decided to share a room on their own. They decided to stay in each other's room. So we are creating this cozy corner. If you've been following along on my Instagram or Facebook, you could see I've been renovating our son's room, who we are dubbing that room now the cozy corner. And then our daughter's room will be like their zone of genius, which is basically a fancy word for playroom. And so when they are ready to go back into their own bedrooms, it'll be easy to disassemble and they can go back into their own, respective spaces. However, we probably will be building a 5th bed at that moment for our daughter because she has stated that she wants another loft bed, not a trundle bed like we decided to do in this room now. So you're at the point. We have evolved our rooms and our needs multiple times. And I'm not saying everybody needs to go and like build their own stuff, right? That's just something we love to do. I think custom building and having furniture built for your needs is like the ultimate way to make your home yours and to really utilize and maximize the space in your home. That is 100% what I stand behind. I really do believe that. But that doesn't mean you have to do it yourself. You can hire other people to do it. You can bring your ideas to life. And so don't feel like me saying we've built this 4 times means you need to go and build everything out yourself. Absolutely not. You can hire people to do this. If you listen along long enough, I can help you with that. As well, hiring the right people, bringing your dreams to life. But to refocus on building your home to yours. Like this room, we originally started as a guest room. And we have guests stay like once a year. And we're like, why are we using a precious space here for our 1 time a year guest when we can utilize this as a playroom? And at that time, our bedroom that we have now was like our playroom / office, but the kids were not having it. They were like, I don't want to play in that room. I want to play everywhere else but there. So we turned this into a playroom. And then we shifted again and turned our office into like an office / guest space. And then that shifted again. And then, so this was a bedroom. The kids just didn't have a playroom. Our bedroom was where our daughter's room was. It just has shifted so much in these 5 years. And we finally think we found our dynamic. And now that the kids are old enough, I feel better about having us on like separate sides of the house. That was, my own mom brain saying I need to be as close as possible with them when they're as little as they are in the same vicinity of the household. Having a whole house separating us just didn't feel so great. But now they're older. Now they can fend for themselves for a lot of things. I think I feel a lot safer with that separation. And so our house has evolved and our needs have changed. And in the future, you'll see how I'll change this office room around because these shelves were really great for, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see what I'm talking about. Obviously, if you are listening, I am discussing about this room that I am in right now where I am recording. This is our office, our home office. There I do like all my stuff. And so I have shelves that we built sitting behind me, and it's full of books and all of like, it's just a mixture of my books, their books, my husband's books. So we have this really great shelf, but we're going to take it down and we're going to make this into the most bomb office library. And I'm so excited because I'll bring you through that journey, but I'm going to do a lot of the building myself. And it's just going to be like the ultimate space because right now I'll tell you, our desk is made out of the last loft bed we built. So we've reutilized some of the wood, but I mean, it's not great, you guys. It's pretty janky. And I mean, but it's working and it's fine for what we got. I mean, we got these temporary bookshelves that I bought when we first moved in here 5 years ago, and they're still standing here holding a lot of my other things here. So they've held up, but again, these were things that were like temporary stuff because we knew that our needs were going to change and we just didn't have a solid plan yet. And so, yeah, you might have that pop up like, hey, Katie, I know my house isn't functioning the way that I want it to or need it to, but I don't have a solid plan yet. And what do you do when you don't have that solid plan and know for sure? I mean, there's a lot of decisions to be made when you're designing your home and when you're making it work for you and not against you. So it's not just like cut and dry, make a choice and do whatever you want. I mean, I get it. Things are moving around. I can't say that this was like what we did in our last home. Our last home was pretty efficient for us. It worked well. We did upgrade some things, but it was not to the extent of how many times we've built beds and offices in this room or in this house, because not only were we building beds, we were building desks for our office space. Like, we had a really sweet setup for a while, but as we shifted rooms, it just didn't fit anymore. And now that we've settled in for real in this house, I can make better choices of what I want to see happen and how I want this house to lay out. And now that the kids are a little bit older, we're a little bit more settled, we can figure out how we move in this house and how we can grow in it. So that's another idea. So when we're like future pacing, like how we're going to live in our home, it is a good idea to just have like if we're sticking with something for a while and you plan on doing this for a long term, yeah, I mean, plan for that. But if you're like, well, my kids might play soccer, or they might get into puzzles, or they might really want art and I should make a studio and have a space for this, like, those are a lot of what ifs and maybes that you can cross that bridge when it comes to and figure out how it might work for you and your family at that point. But what can you do right now to make it make sense for you? So, we in our old house, we built like a whole entertainment center because our windows came down really low. A lot of houses around here are ranch style houses if they've been around for a while. Both our houses were older houses, so ranch style houses, windows are low, and with modern day appliances and TVs, they're huge and they're wall mounted, and there's not a lot of space in the living rooms, right? Like, if you don't have an open concept, it's just constrained. And so we had to really make something work for us. And we built our whole entertainment center to just, fit our speakers, fit our games, fit our books, fit, the things that we wanted to have out, and then also fit it underneath our window so we weren't blocking out this beautiful window that was bringing in so much natural light. And it comes in, you just need to be strategic about it. But I wasn't focused on who's going to buy this house next. Now, when we do a lot of our built-ins for our closets, because I think closets are like the number one space where people forget that they can maximize the use out of them. So when our kids were itty bitty in our old house, we actually took the doors off that one closet and created built-in shelves with like hangers on the other side. So there was clothing space, but then there was also space for a bunch of toys. So that way the toys weren't taking over the rooms, because again, these little ranch houses don't have large rooms. This room that I'm sitting in right now is under 10 feet square. So I think it's 9 feet, almost 10 feet one way and like 9.5 the other. They're just tight spaces. And so there's not a lot of room to work with. So you really got to be smart about how you're using it. And I know this isn't everybody's situation. So if you have a ton of space, it doesn't mean you can't maximize the efficiency and make it work for you. You can always find ways to do that regardless of the size of your home. I just happen to be very good at figuring out smaller houses because that's just been my experience. Larger houses, though, I mean, you got more space, more closets, bigger areas. But if you just have this giant open space and just have like a wall with some hanging rods, I mean, hello, you have so much to work with in that space. Like, take advantage of it and don't even consider the people that are going to follow you, because one, they might be like, whoa, I never thought I would need this many shelves in a closet, or two, like, I didn't even know this was something I could have. Like, this might not have even crossed someone's mind to maximize a space like that. So ultimately, make it for you. Make your kitchen lay out the way that makes sense for you. If you want to have all your appliances hidden, hide your appliances. Put them in the places you want to put them in. If you want bright pink cabinets, do it, man. Like, there's no reason not to. Will it be harder to resell your home with bright pink cabinets? Probably. But you know what else is true? Paint. You can paint them, you can get them refinished. I mean, it's a lot more common now. It's a lot easier to do. You can also just swap out the doors if you really wanted to and fix the bases. I mean, there's so many options. So if you wanted some like really cool, weird looking doors, swap out the door fronts, keep the boxes of the cabinets. Like these are all options that you can do without having to compromise what you like, what you need for worrying about what the resale value is. I'll tell you, I had one of my jobs, they had smoke damage, fire. I don't remember where the fire was, but they had a ton of smoke damage throughout their house. So we had to repaint the entire home. And this was like at least a 3,000 square foot home with huge, tall ceilings, like cathedral. And every single room in that house was a different color. And it was pretty open concept. So we did like a darker blue in their dining room, this really pretty like beachy blue in like their main area. If you walk in that front door, to the right was their dining room, and it was pink and gold, okay? Gold walls, gold ceiling, pink bottom, like where your chair rail would be. And I mean, it wasn't my cup of tea, but it was not horrible. And you know what they didn't care about? The people that were coming after them, because it was just paint, you guys. They were able to do it. And like each room was like, they had a yellow and blue room. And they had like, I'm talking like primary blue, primary yellow, purple in one bedroom, pink in another. I mean, they were all out with their colors. And then the runner on their stairwell, same thing, bright geometric colors going up the carpet. And I mean, it's cool to go into a home where they just own what they like. And so when you go into a home, you're like, wow, I really can just feel the energy that is in this space because it is so this person that I'm coming to visit. Like, how special is that? Like, I would love to have that, like, my home actually just be an extension of, like, our family and our dynamic. Like, I want it to feel loving and comfortable and just, like, I'm home, you know? Like, whether this is your home or not. But I think I made this clear. Our homes are our sanctuaries, and this would be your place to be you 100%. So this is your permission to paint the walls some crazy color, paint your ceiling, paint the trim, paint the doors, go crazy with paint, and then do whatever you want for floors and everything else. I mean, you can think about what makes sense for you and your family, but don't be focused on your resale value. I'll give you one more example. My husband and I are finishing our one bathroom in this small house, right? So again, we have 2 bathrooms in here. One is a full shower bath combo, but it's so small. Like, you're on the toilet, you're opening the door, you're hitting your knees. Like, it is tight. We have an 18-inch vanity in there. It's not ideal, but it is, it works because we make it work. We have another bathroom, but it's only set up as a half bath right now. And it's down to its studs. We've been living in this house for 5 years with the bathroom down to its studs. That is a whole nother conversation we can have about how we like to suffer, if you will. You can call it what you want. Sure, we got some mindset stuff to work around that. 100%, you guys. We know this. I'll talk another episode, or at least a Insta post, about project managing your own home and like with your dynamics, man. It's a little funny. It's a little funny about how that balances. But back to this bathroom, we're figuring out how we can make this work for us, because we do want this to be a full bathroom. We want to have a shower. We want to have a bath. We went back and forth with just doing like a big stand-up shower, but I want a nice big deep tub. Like, I love a good bath, and so does my husband. So we're like, all right, let's get a nice soaking tub and just do a shower bath combo. But the space isn't huge, and our washer and dryer used to live in our garage, but we brought it into the house because our garage is detached, and it was like all the way in the back corner. So here in Charleston, it rains 95% of the summer. So doing laundry in like one humid conditions, and then having rainstorms like every other day, I mean, it just wasn't ideal. Wasn't the best. So we moved it inside the house, but it also means it lives inside our bedroom now. And if anyone has a washer and dryer in their bedroom or anywhere in like a public space, they're loud, right? Like they are not fun, but everybody loves a washer and dryer in their house. I mean, so we are keeping the washer and dryer. We are compromising in the space. Anyway, we have a good little space that we can take in for our bathroom. So we are just trying to coordinate this. So if we earn a little bit of space with where the washer and dryer sit now, we can leave the washer and dryer where they are, kind of create its own little space, block off our bedroom from all of this, and add a little space to this little bathroom that is down to its studs, and still have access to everything. The problem is, or if you want to call it a problem, is the vanity. We have a single sink vanity, which is no problem for us. We very rarely get ready at the same time. And if we do, we're kind of just like in and out, moving around. So, and honestly, I don't even think we've ever had a double vanity in any of our homes. So maybe we're just like, this is just the way we're accustomed to. So, but as we were designing this and trying to come up with an idea of like how we can lay this out to have everything we want, and then also make sense. Again, one thing that you do want to consider when you are designing your home for you, but for future, is if you are building things correctly. So always build things correctly. I'm definitely not saying do whatever you want and it's incorrect and, fire hazards or safety issues. So when it comes to this little bathroom, we are trying to make like a water closet for the toilet. So that way it's kind of exposed or hidden. But a toilet needs about, if I'm remembering correctly, you need at least like 30 inches on each side around the toilet and then like 5 feet in front of it. So if you're going to put a door, you can't have this tiny little closet. Even if it's like convenient for us, we'll be fine. It would still be something that in the future might be an issue. So for that kind of thing, definitely try to come up with ideas that you can work within a safe constraint. The other part that we were thinking about, though, I'm like, we need to have 2 vanities in this primary suite. And it's like, no, actually you don't. And for resale value, I don't think it matters that much. And maybe somebody out there that's in real estate can debunk this. But my opinion is, I don't care to have 2 vanities in my primary bathroom. My husband doesn't care. And it will not change the value of our home so much that we wouldn't be able to sell it for, whatever we decide to sell it for, if we decide to sell it in the future. So, and I think that also depends. So let me back this up a little bit. I think it also depends because we have a really great location. So I'm not worried about that. Now, I still don't know. I'm not going back on this. I feel strongly that one vanity or 2 vanity is not going to make or break someone buying your house. And if it is, they can also consider renovating the house so that way it makes sense for them. And that's my 20 cents for that because, I'm going to stand by this. You don't need 2 vanities. It's not going to make or break your sale. I feel like there's got to be a lot of other components in this that's going to affect a sale if the only thing is a 2 vanity. So yes. So you see the difference though. Safety versus like what are the required amount of space around a toilet that you need to make a water closet versus making a design choice of having a single or double vanity in your primary suite. So future, making sure we're doing things safely, yes. Doing things because you think you're supposed to have a double vanity in your primary suite for resale value, no. Don't do it. Do it for you. That is my high horse that I'm coming to you on about not decorating, but designing your home to be yours now and not for the resale value, man. Like, no, do it for you. Do it for your family. I'm going to stick with that. You only need 1 vanity. If you hung out with me this long, thank you so much. I truly appreciate y'all hanging around and meeting me every week. If you have been enjoying this podcast, it would mean the world to me to hear what your thoughts are. So please leave a review, share this with your friends, and make sure to subscribe, leave a review. Again, it would just mean the world to me. You can also find me on YouTube at Hello Katie Go, Instagram and Facebook at the same handle, Hello Katie Go, and I really hope to see you out there. I'll talk with you soon. Have a wonderful, beautiful day today. Thank you for hanging out today. If you like what you heard, please make sure you hit subscribe, and I hope to see you again next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.